The Tyler, an alien being from a world known to us as Tyler Frey. He has taken many forms over his long existence in this universe, but this is his most common one. He has also traveled with many companions, his first documented one being a man named Joel Sancton. This documentary series will explain the many adventures that this Tyler has had, and will delve deep into his history. Let us begin. One of the most mysterious things about the Tyler is his history. Some wonder if he was born on an alien paradise, or if he was just born in a Taco Bell. It's up to debate. One well-known fact about the Tyler is that he has traveled interdimensionally in a vehicle he calls the Chahidi, the first one being discovered by a man named Joel Sancton while the Tyler was in it. The Tyler had to abandon the old Chahidi after an evil alien supervillain loser named Dankross disabled it. He then went on a giant quest to find a new heart for the Chahidi so he could rebuild it. He then built this new one. The Tyler has faced many foes, from giant losers such as Dankross, to walking, talking cardboard boxes called the Hypermen. The most formidable enemy that the Tyler has fought against, though, have to be the Phallics. They cover themselves with blankets because their faces are so ugly, because they were created in the image of Dankross, who is super ugly and a big loser. These Phallics overwhelm their enemy in large numbers, and have superior firepower to any enemy they come against. Now it is time to explain the many adventures the Tyler has had.
Wait a minute, I thought this was a photo booth. Well, no. I'm Jackie. Who are you? I'm Joel Stanton. Who are you? Well, I'm the Tyler. Tyler who? No, please, I can't be Tyler.
The Tyler's first adventure was pretty uneventful. Joel Sancton suddenly wandered into his Chahidi thinking it was a photo booth, and then Tyler showed him around and showed him his sonic plunger. After a while, they decided to go back in time 5 minutes to get discount tacos at Taco Bell.
I wonder where my companion is.
You must be upgraded into cardboard box.
Oh no, my worst nightmare, Hyperman, and it's festive.
Yes, I am festive.
Getting ready for the holidays, where you're getting calls in the sock.
That does not make no sense.
You don't know what stocking is. Ooh. Oh, yeah.
In the second adventure Tyler has, Tyler finds a Hyperman in his Chahidi, so he does what he would do to any Hyperman.
Wait!
No.
Again?
No.
Again?
No.
More? Oh. Joel!
For some reason, the Hyperman had turned Joel into a Beta Hyperman, meaning he was half human and half Hyperman. After Tyler had sonic plungered him, Joel fell unconscious, and then Tyler woke him up with his favorite items in a bowl. For the rest of the adventure, they just hung out and talked.
Where am I? Ooh, I use a scarf as... I use a tie as a scarf. Very correct. No, it can't be. It's California!
The Tyler, after figuring out that he is in California, discovers that these creatures that are chasing him are called the Brosters. They've been sent by an evil man named Devross, who is also Dankross's evil twin brother. Eventually, Tyler pulls out a scarf and starts whacking the Brosters, as well as saying nerdy things to them, which hurts them. Eventually, they overpower the Tyler, and the Tyler falls down, becoming unconscious.
Do the chop, bruh. Yeah.
How do you know David?
Little bruh.
Whoa!
Little bruh, come on. Bruh, look at I just opened gate, bruh.
Whoa! recording me. And what am I?
Yeah, I got the ability to capture you so I can film you on YouTube. Yeah.
So that's the whole point. Wow.
According to the majority of historians on Earth, this adventure that the Tylers had is probably the most confusing. But with some helpful pre-established background knowledge, we can figure out that the Tyler was kidnapped by the Brosters, sent to a man called the YouTuber, who forced him to make videos, but then the Tyler gave him a space orb, which ate him. With this knowledge, many historians could finally put to rest the confusion on this case.
And where are we going? We're going to McDonald's. And know what I like about this McDonald's? What? It has carrot juice. You obsessed with my thing.
After Tyler finally returned to Joel, they both decided to go to McDonald's. But while they were walking down the street, they were attacked by a monster known as the Gluttony Monster. The monster has an extremely unhealthy diet and is very aggressive. The Gluttony Monster forces the Tyler and Joel to kneel down to him and forces them to try and take him to McDonald's. The Tyler and Joel manage to convince him to eat grass, and he dies because it is so healthy.
Man, that pizza place was so good, wasn't it, Tyler? Pizza. What?
I'm the master of it, and I'm gonna rob you fools.
No. Well, piracies are good. Piracy, stealing stuff, yo ho ho wow.
So you're stealing things too.
While the Tyler and Joel are in the tardy talking about the pizza place they ate at, they are jumped by a robber from New York. The robber goes around the tardy stealing a bunch of crap like jewelry, and the Tyler and Joel seem to do nothing about it. Eventually, they have enough of these shenanigans, and they start to fight the robber. The robber then goes insane and runs outside the tardy. The Tyler and Joel still hear the robber outside the tardy rolling around on the floor like a crazy person, so they decide to beat the crap out of him. For some reason, the Tyler and Joel's swords start to grow new sword limbs and attack the robber. To this day, historians have no idea why this happened. Eventually, the Tyler believes he has had enough with this robber, so he does the unthinkable.
Oh, wait.
And even the swords are growing limbs to stab you, Bobby Jen.
You're not Bobby Jen. I'm Bob Dylan.
Bang.
Oh, that's how you use it.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I know.
We should use that more often. Bang, bang.
So, the Tyler just straight up kills the robber with some space weapon he had lying around. This event will come to bite Tyler in the butt in the future.
I tracked down the phalanx here in this horrible year of 2003. Oh my god, what is that? I don't know anything. Oh, we actually been looking for you, so that's helpful.
The Tyler and Joel decided to travel back in time to 2003 so they could find Dankross, who created the phalanx. The Tyler and Joel also beat the heebie-jeebies out of Dankross so he could tell them about his new project, a version of the phallic called the Salic. After a lot of kicking and arguing, Dankross finally tells the Tyler and Joel about the Salic, saying it is one of the most dangerous creatures in the universe. Before they left, Tyler disabled Dankross by turning off his electronics, but Dankross also disabled the life support for the tardy. This meant that the tardy was no longer operational, and after going into a frantic search to try and fix the tardy, the Tyler eventually just passed out.
Tyler! Oh, yeah! Oh, it's just where did you go? I just lay down. Because somebody. You weren't even laying down there. Yeah, but where? I lay down because there was someone in here. I don't see anybody in here.
After the Tyler randomly passed out, he and Joel walked around for a little bit until they found out that a Salic was in their tardy. After touching it a bunch and doing a bunch of random things to it, the Tyler eventually just put a cassette tape on the top of the Salic, and the Salic withered away. Historians are often baffled why Dankross said the Salic would be so dangerous. After all, it did absolutely nothing to Tyler or Joel. After this, the Tyler realizes he still has a mission to complete, so he makes a heart-wrenching decision.
So yeah, bye.
Goodbye, salad thingy.
No, I was saying goodbye to you.
What? Why are you going?
Yes, Trout. I have to go find the tidy. While you're trapped in this horrible place of 2003.
Why can't I come with you?
I don't know, just to make it more dramatic, I guess.
Okay.
So, bye.
Wait, toilet. What am I doing here?
I don't know why you ain't in there.
No, you told me to stay in here.
Just get out of here.
Yay!
And so, just like that, the big adventure that the Tyler and Joel had concluded. But this was not the end.
Drinking a lot, sir. Would you like some more water, sir?
No, I had way too much.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I'm retiring.
Tyler. Tyler who?
That's what Joel said the first time you met me.
Who's Joel?
Well, I'll explain. So, me and Joel used to go on adventures together. Right away, we were time travelers until we got stuck in the most dreadful year of them all. 2003.
Sometime during 2003, the Tyler managed to get to a bar, where he drank absurd amounts of water, which intoxicates Tylords. At this bar, the Tyler met a friendly bartender, and the Tyler explained his backstory in a drunken state. After Tyler went crazy for a second and the bartender had to calm him down, the bartender told Tyler he had to leave because the bar was closing.
Are you okay?
After the Tyler began to leave the bar, he heard crying in a corner, so he began to investigate. He found a man standing there with an axe, who said he had been sent to kill him. The man started to chase the Tyler, while the Tyler ran and did rolls and all that other stuff. The Tyler then ran out the door, but the man was still hot on his heels, so he kept running, until he got hit in the leg by the man's axe. But while he was limping, the man just started to dance around and say a bunch of weird things. This next clip will explain what happened after that.
You took my right leg.
Oh, crap, no, not a great idea.
I defeated you. Now tell me all your secrets.
Oh, I've been hired by the Tycho Tracks. You've got to stop that.
Now the fun begins.
So, apparently alien beings called the Tycho Tracks had hired an assassin to try and kill the Tyler. Now the Tyler had to find these beings and find out what they were planning.
According to my calculations, the Tycho Track ships would be somewhere near...
Surrender your weapons, children!
Joke's on you. They died in a brutal fire years ago.
I know you. You're the Tyler. I thought the assassin got you.
No, he actually killed himself, so pretty easy.
Can't get any good work around here.
It's just how it is these days.
Yeah, anyway, we're gonna invade Earth, and you can't stop us, so just don't try.
Well, I have my axe.
Against an army? That won't do anything. Are you dense?
Well, I can time travel.
We all know you don't have a tardy.
You don't have to rub it in. You You should be a lot nicer for an invader.
What do invaders usually do? Invite you inside?
Well, no, they normally invite us inside.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna invade Earth now. See you later.
No! I challenge you to a duel for Earth on Thanksgiving.
Do you really think you'll beat me?
Yes, because with the power of Earth and Thanksgiving, I will win.
Sure. Tomorrow. Same time as right now. I'll see you then.
Thanksgiving night. Again.
So, the Tyler and the Tychotrax guy are going to have a duel over the fate of the Earth. The Tyler is later seen walking down the street, wondering if his decision to duel over the Earth was a good one. He then stumbles into the bartender, and they have a little chat.
The Tyler!
The bartender.
How's it been, man?
So.
So,
Yeah.
so, what you doing in these parts?
Well, I was tracking down somebody, and then I found
You wanna
him.
walk?
Yeah, sure. Well, I have to fight this one guy, and he's the Tychotrax general, and if I defeat him, he's gonna save Earth, but, like,
Explain to me, what's the Tychotrax?
well, they're like these people who invade. They're aliens.
It seems, are they planet? Do they invade planets or just regions?
I don't care. They just invade.
Fair enough.
Yes. Well, see, I have to fight for Earth, but Earth is, like, what's the point, like?
But it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, like, what is Thanksgiving about?
It's
Turkey?
It's about being thankful about the people you love. Right? We are very close because I sold you water once and you gave me a penny.
I do very much respect you, son. Well, I'll be off. Take
Alright.
care.
It was nice seeing you again, the Tyler.
You too, bartender.
After that event occurred, the bartender began to walk down the street when he ran into the Tychotrax general. The Tychotrax general and him got into a fight, and the Tychotrax general won. So, the Tyler now had to save the bartender.
Just finish him already, Tyler. Earth is finally mine. And now, you die!
No.
What?
You are defeated now.
Oh, crap.
I will not kill you. Leave Earth and never come.
Oh God, I'll listen to you, man. Thank you.
No. Thank you. You saved Earth. And I'm now thankful for them. I am thankful for Earth. And I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving